My name is Heather Mawson, and my area of study is sculpture. My dad was in the Army, so I moved around a lot. I was born in Massachusetts. I lived in Germany. I also lived in Australia, and then I moved to Texas, and then I moved to Missouri, and then I moved back. Well, I really started with graphic design, and then once I took a studio class here, because with a BFA you have to take all of the studios. So once I took a three-dimensional class, I was like, wow, I really like working with my hands and I like learning new things all the time. I started with doing really big stuff. So I would make like 8-foot tall steel sculptures and like put polyurethane foam all over it, and I started really abstract. So the project I finished last week was something I've been working on for a year, and I really wanted to focus on like traditions and Western culture, specifically pertaining to the wedding and the bride. So I made a hybrid wedding dress where I took 6 different wedding dresses, and then I also incorporated a veil that I made out of lingerie. And then in addition to that, I wanted to do an interactive part, so I invited people to share stories about commitment or relationships, and then add a clay link to the bottom of the dress. So what I was thinking about too with the bride was that like the wedding part of it, I see it as like a community ritual kind of aspect, so I wanted the community to be involved in that. And the links that were created, I was thinking about smaller things that create like this larger kind of story that can be connected. So that's why the stories were involved, just because I wanted to see if people are willing to take something personal and put it out there into the world, and then let that become a part of the piece. So the piece becomes more in depth. So at the end of the piece, or the end of the week, I wore the dress. Well, I connected all those stories to the dress one by one. And then after that, I wore the dress and stomped on all the clay. So when people wrote down their stories, they also wrote down their name and email. And then from there, all that clay that's dry, I'm gonna take and reconstitute it so that it becomes malleable clay again. And then I'm gonna create flower pots, and I'm gonna email those people back and then give them one of those pots, so that there's this whole cycle going on with the exhibition and people are able to contribute to the piece. But I feel like as an artist, I don't only want to take, I also want to, if people are giving me some sort of like personal story, I also want to give back to them in some kind of way. So there's this give and take within my work. The Regents Award that I just won, there was 2 different categories, a 3D category and a 2D category. I went into the 3D category, and they picked who they wanted to from both categories, and then that went to a larger board in the university, and then they picked who they wanted to go to Austin, and then it went to Austin, and then there was a board there of art, like gallerists or critics or all that kind of stuff, and then they picked 2 people, one from 3D and one from 2D, and I won the 3D. But yeah, it is a big accomplishment. UTEP has never won a Regents Award, so it's pretty big, and also it changes. So like this year it was studio art, and next year it might be theater or music or creative writing, so it's always different. So like the studios here are huge, and I feel like that played a lot into why I wanted to start here, is because I was like, wow, there's so much to do, like so many toys to play with. But then when I started just talking to faculty, I realized that like there's so much more than that here. Like the faculty really helped me like grow as an artist. I started out as totally something different than what I am now and who I want to be as an artist. So it changed from like the facilities being really cool to like the faculty being amazing and really giving me their time and all of that, and just to see me grow. Like they all want to see me do my best. So with grad school, what I want to do is I really want to focus on what I was doing like last week, was like breaking down the barrier between like me, the artist, and the viewer, because I see it as a type of performance work. Which elaborates on my past work, but then more than that, it's breaking down like the typical art barriers that you have between like I am the artist or you are the viewer. Like I don't want that. Like I want there to be some like give and take between me and the public. So I want to explore on that more. you.